All right, boys, we got Counter-Strike should be dead by now. Saw this on the YouTube, popped up the OBS, you know the deal. You guys don't know who I am. My name is Kaigi Silva. I do reaction content, live content, game content. Check out the YouTube if you like it. Leave a sub, leave a like if you don't. Whatever, what are you going to do? Let's get into it.
CSGO just hit 1.8 million concurrent players.
Wait, hold on. What's the date on this? Okay, this was 2 years ago, 2023, 2026 now. Okay, almost 3 years ago now. 1.8 million. Is that concurrent, he said?
CSGO just hit 1.8 million concurrent players.
Yeah, concurrent. That's an insane number. 1.8 mil playing in that moment. Now, I have 50 hours, right? I'm pretty fucking new. Like, very new. So, I mean, this should be interesting.
Down and follows it up. They're all lining up. Cold Zero.
Who's that?
Million concurrent players.
Marcelo David? You see, I'm Brazilian too. Cold Zeta. I never heard of this guy. I'm new to CS scene. I don't know any of these guys. I don't know any of these teams. I don't know any of these people, man. Cold Zeta. I gotta look into this guy. God damn.
Down and follows it up. They're all lining up. Cold Zero with an ace.
That's the highest player base this game has ever seen, and it came out in 2012. That is ancient in the gaming world.
I just did a reaction to another video, and the first CS, the beta was 1999. Like I've mentioned this before, I've never seen a game grow with its players more than CS. It's insane.
You know what else came out in 2012? Halo 4, Mass Effect 3, and the first Avengers movie. This game is so old that we were still enjoying Xbox 360 game lobbies.
You can't do anything right. You're a disappointment to your family. You should fucking die.
Somehow,
Or you hear how the mic sounds back in the day? Those, like, you cannot replicate that. We lost the art of the mic in past Call of Duty games. It's just gone. We can't do it anymore. That mic was actually felt like you were in Call of Duty using a mic. Can't do it.
although Valve has not only kept CSGO alive for the past 11 years, but kept the game growing. But it's no accident that Counter-Strike is thriving. Valve knew exactly what they were doing, and it all started with Half-Life. Half-Life was amazing. The gameplay was incredible, and the storytelling was groundbreaking, being the first game to tell a story without cutscenes.
Weren't you supposed to be in the test chamber half an hour ago?
But what really made this game so amazing was the mods. Mods like Black Mesa, Team Fortress.
Yeah, I just reacted to another video of CSGO, and they said the same thing. Half-Life was their original game, and then CS came along, and originally it was a mod, and then it branched out into a full game. And, you know, first it was Counter-Strike Source. It wasn't just the defuse and the search and defuse type deal. It was like a team deathmatch free-for-all type deal. And then they added CSGO, which is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which introduced the defusing bombs. Half-Life, I've never played. I never played it. I heard it's one of the best games ever made, but I don't know.
And Counter-Strike, a mod made
There
by
it is.
two dudes in college trying to pad their resumes. But what Min Guzman Lee and Jesse Cliff didn't know was they were really about to pad those resumes, because after a few versions, Counter-Strike took off. You could poke your head into almost any college computer or dorm room and find a crew playing a custom Counter-Strike lobby.
But what is going on in this image?
At those resumes, because after a few versions, Counter-Strike took off. You could poke your head in.
So this guy's taped up to the roof, eating pizza and chicken wings, looking at a monitor, Toshiba Grandma laptop monitor. What is... If this was college back in the day, sign me up.
Into almost any college computer or dorm room and find a crew playing a custom Counter-Strike lobby. But why was this mod on Half-Life so popular? Well, a few reasons. The game was simple, the maps were clean and polished, and the gunslinging was beyond satisfying. You just 1v5 the whole team?
Counter-terrorist. Okay.
Bro, this is Shroud. Like, can you believe this? I always thought Shroud was a streamer, normal streamer. This guy was a CS pro. And he used to stream. What year is this? 1972? Look at this. Just gets a... Is that an ace? 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy crap. On B long, I can't even shoot a head going on B.
You hit a
long in
one
that
tap
tunnel.
headshot collateral with a deagle?
Counter-terrorist.
Everything about this.
Okay.
You hit a one tap headshot collateral with a deagle?
Okay, now, is this real?
Terrorist.
Everything about this game was satisfying because nothing was random. If you did something cool, it's because you were awesome. not the game. It was pure, unadulterated skill. You deserved every win that you got. Not to mention the bragging rights with your friends. And gamers everywhere were playing this game over LAN or dial-up. There's no matchmaking though, so you'd have to buy or rent your own server and then get your friends together, often organizing matches over a forum.
Bro, I remember like these were the days.
Have to buy or
these coffee shop type ordeals, man. This is when I first got like introduced to gaming. It was in Brazil. I remember me and my cousin's older than me, way older than me. He introduced me to this spot, this low-key spot. You would go inside, you would pay the guy, have computers all over, you have shields, protecting your computer from like the sun and stuff, and giving you your little space, your cube, and you would just play. That was my first experience in like an internet cafe type stuff. Oh my God.
Rent your own server and then get your friends together, often organizing matches over a forum. This game kept growing, and by the 4th beta mod, Counter-Strike caught Valve's attention. Lee and Cliff, two college kids with little dev experience, sold the intellectual rights of Counter-Strike to Valve, who, by the way, hired them as developers to continue working on the game. This was the first time Valve had bought the rights to a mod, but it wouldn't be the last. So with the funding from Valve and a larger team behind the project, the devs got to work.
Is that Fallen? It's Fallen, right? The eSports player? Why is he up here was he part of the dev team? No way, right?
Expanding and polishing the game. And only 1 year after the mod release for Half-Life, Valve officially released the retail version of Counter-Strike. This game was incredible. Not because they did anything special, but because they released a version that was basically identical to the mod. Valve understood that the original gameplay was close to perfect, so they kept it the same, making minor changes until they reached version 1.6 in September of 2003, the sweet spot. In this last major update, Valve...
September 2003, hey, that's exactly 1 year before I was born. And it's unbelievable to say this. This footage is before I was born, and the people playing here were playing before I was born, and they're probably still playing today.
Did some weapon balancing, 2 new guns were added, and more maps were included. Not to mention, they added a riot shield, which was controversial, but it sure did make casual play goofy and fun.
Come on!
But most importantly, the 1.6 update lined up with the release of Steam, Valve's new platform to host their games. Moving CS to Steam made the game more accessible than ever. Gone were the days of purchase servers and forum-organized lobbies. You could finally play Counter-Strike with anybody. All the tools to play CS were in one place, so the game exploded. People all over the world were playing Counter-Strike. If you were a PC gamer, you played CS, or at least you knew.
That's not true. I never had a PC. I never had access to PC. I was never one of those kids, okay? There's just 2 type of kids, okay, in school. You have a console, you have a PC. I've always been a console guy, okay? And it's not necessarily my choice. It was just a thing that has been accessible to me, okay? PCs. I remember I tried to order a PC off of Amazon because I was jealous of all these other PC guys when I was like 14 or something, 15. And I had a PS3, okay? And I grew up with PS2, and now I got a PS3. But I wanted a PC because I wanted to be cool. I wanted the PC, play all these games with mouse and keyboard and better aim, stuff like that. I remember I saved up, okay? I told my parents, okay, I'm going to read books, and if I read these books, will you give me money? I saved up. I did about 2 weeks of reading, saved up about $150, and I thought that was enough for a good gaming PC. Load up Amazon, and I told my dad, this is the one I want. The shitter arrives in the mail, and it boots up, but it doesn't even work. Like the FPS is horrible even on the home screen, bro. Now you can imagine a $150 PC this size. What are we doing? So that was my first introduction to PCs, and after that, I don't even know what happened to that PC. I think we just put it in the garage. I just went back to my PS3, PS4, and so on.
New people who played. And for many, this time became known as the golden age of Counter-Strike. I mean, it was so popular that an esports following was made out of it, long before esports were culturally relevant, and more people watched every year. Things were looking bright for the future of Counter-Strike, but then 2 disappointing sequels happened, causing a rift in the CS community. In March of 2004, Counter-Strike Condition Zero came out. It was a different spin on the classic CS formula, focused on single-player campaign rather than multiplayer. Valve had somehow forgotten that their audience was a bunch of competitive sweats. These players didn't want to play a single-player version of Counter-Strike. Then in October of 2004, Valve released Counter-Strike.
A single player would hit hard, though. Can't lie to you. BO1 campaign. Oh, that's one of the best campaigns of all time. MW2 campaign. Oh, imagine CSGO had a campaign. It would add so much more lore to the terrorists and the counter-terrorists too.
Source, developed by Turtle Rock Studios on a brand new Source engine. Source was meant to be the next iteration, the game to continue the Counter-Strike legacy. There's just one problem. Many players hated it. With large hitboxes, random spray patterns, and movement changes, the game was easier than 1.6 and not nearly as competitive. Source caused a real rift in the CS community because many chose to stay playing 1.6. So both games had competitive scenes going at the same time. And this split damaged the CS scene as a whole. Sadly, the first golden age of Counter-Strike came to an end in 2007. And from 2007 to 2012, the Counter-Strike community really struggled. The competitive scene never reunified under those versions, and a lot of other games started to compete with CS and eSports, like StarCraft 2, Dota 2, and League of Legends. Valve did continue to provide updates for Counter-Strike Source after launch, but it didn't seem
Now, League of Legends is another one of those games that are like PC, too cool for me type deal. Now, I've played League of Legends for the first time ever like about a year ago. And really good game, but it by far has the worst community I've ever seen in my life, and it kind of just turned me off the whole game. I reached Emerald rank in like 9 months, but then after that, it's like, wow, what am I doing here, bro? It's like everybody just hates themselves in League.
like they were doing anything
Really fun game though.
to bring players back. Counter-Strike was dying. But then a lifeline appeared. In 2010, a studio called
CS, I feel like the player base, everybody just hates the cheaters, and that's it. And the vote to kick option in CS is one of the best features a game could ever have. Because if you have a negative bozo on your team, you just vote to kick, everybody agrees, boom, they're out. You know, that eliminates a lot of the community aspect negativity that League of Legends has, you know, because you're just locked into these 5 people, and for bottling is just running it down on purpose. And they're just like, well, what am I doing this for?
Hidden Path Entertainment began porting Source to console with Valve support. And early on in the port's development, Valve saw an opportunity to create a brand new Counter-Strike game for PC and consoles, which would update and refine the gameplay. So in 2012, Valve released a new version, the new future of Counter-Strike, the game they would call CSGO. And it was bad.
How much bullshit is in CSGO and they're not doing shit about it.
Just like Source, a lot of players had huge issues with CSGO, and for good reason. It had unresponsive movement, fog all over the maps, terrible
Yo, what was that clip? Who was that, bro? It was so much bullshit.
recoil patterns, and horrendous hit registration. The game that was supposed to reunify the Counter-Strike community wasn't looking good. For the first couple months after CSGO launched, there were only 50K players playing it. The same number of players that were still playing the original Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source. If the goal was to reunite the community, Valve had failed. Even with this lackluster launch, they didn't give up on the game. Valve started churning out updates.
Oh, wow, that is really good.
Andy!
The developers focused on fixing the core issues of the game and even talked directly with the community and esports teams to get feedback. Finally, 6 months after launch, months of feedback and change.
What is going on here? Hostages are now carried by CTs instead of following behind. No way, the hostages? Honestly, that's kind of... Is that realistic? I don't know. Yeah, a hostage would be. But then you could break their handcuffs and stuff. I don't know. Both are real, I guess. But this is definitely not real. It looks like his elbow is inside his head.
The game felt different.
Whatever.
Players were starting to like the game. Players from 1.6 and Source. Both sides somehow agreed for the first time, and CSGO was becoming something special. With all the changes, this version struck a great balance between the original CS and CS Source, bridging the gap that had been there for years. This wave of interest from existing players also brought in all sorts of new players. People loved Counter-Strike again, and the reason is simple. You can understand how to play the game in 5 minutes, but you could spend a lifetime mastering.
That is so facts. That is so facts. The game is very simple in its core fundamentals. You have a gun, you have 2 bombs, 2 teams, terrorists, counter-terrorists. If you're the terrorist, you got to plant the bomb and kill everybody else. If you're the counter-terrorist, you cannot allow the terrorists to plant the bomb, and you got to kill all of them. Most simple concept of all time. But then you try shooting an AK for the first time in your life, and you're like, what the absolute fuck? That's what happened to me. I deleted the game. I literally deleted the game, and then I searched up on YouTube how to actually play CS. Learned you had to stand still in order to shoot, and even then it was pretty hard. But then I got my first doink, I got my first dink, and it got funner and funner and funner and funner.
You don't even need to be a Counter-Strike player to enjoy the game. Millions of hours are spent watching every year, even by people that never play. The gameplay is just so crunchy. Not to mention it's incredibly accessible to play and watch. On top of all of that, Valve added modding tools, custom servers, and game modes for the casual player. With all these new changes, both the casual and competitive scenes took off. And with the rise of the competitive scene, came the resurrection of Counter-Strike eSports. Beginning with DreamHack in 2013, Valve began sponsoring eSports events. And every time the game had a major tournament, the player count permanently increased. By the end of 2016, CSGO had 400,000 people playing consistently, 8 times more than the 50,000 playing on launch. Crazy. But what's even more nuts is that this trend has only continued. Viewership is consistently increasing, and the scene is just getting bigger. It's a feedback loop. For CS, bigger tournaments means more people playing, and more people playing means bigger tournaments. Blizzard and the Overwatch League could learn a thing or two from Counter-Strike. Valve
Overwatch?
even announced recently
I hit top 500 in Overwatch when I was like 15 on my PS4. No lie, no lie, no lie. What does Overwatch have to do with this?
requirements for large-scale CS tournaments, rules that encourage a fair and transparent method for team participation. Valve is
The esports, I guess.
obviously committed to the health of Counter-Strike as an esport, and they continue to make that known. While most companies who sponsor esports don't care about it, treating their esports like a child they never wanted, Valve has continued to sponsor and put up more and more prize money for Counter-Strike, with every tournament feeling bigger than the last. So does Valve just love esports? So much so that they're willing to burn money on it? Definitely not. There's a reason Valve supports it. Right now,
I mean, I wouldn't call it burning money on esports. Like, is this League of Legends, by the way? What is this, Dota? I wouldn't call it burning money on esports. Like, esports is one of the best things you can do to a gaming community. Giving the players opportunities to represent themselves in the most high upper echelon of competitive gaming, and the more funding it goes into, I think the better, the players are, the better the competition is, because you have a bigger prize pool. You see all these esports organizations, they're kind of lackluster in the prize pool, and it causes players to, churn or not, get demotivated. If you keep funding into it, guess what? The competition is going to get stronger, and that competition is going to create even more viewership,
most esports are
and more bottom line for the company.
struggling, with many scenes and teams barely scraping by. Something we may talk about in a future video, so subscribe if you want us to make that, but not Counter-Strike. Something about this game makes Valve a lot of money, a skin economy. Some may say,
Who cares? Every game has skins nowadays.
The casino of gaming, right?
and you're right, but what's different about CSGO is that it's not just skins that they added, but an entire marketplace. A community to trade and buy skins through Steam. And when Valve introduced this system, they had 3 goals in mind to specifically
What a system. I mean, these guys are like trillionaires, quadrillionaires off of this shit.
ensure the game's long-term success. Number 1, get players to engage with the market. But how does Valve achieve this? Well, here's where the magic happens. There's no in-game market to buy cases or skins like in Overwatch or Warzone. Instead, you earn skins and cases by playing. But these cases aren't free. To open cases, you have to buy keys from Valve on the Steam Marketplace for $2.50, which forces players to be involved in the marketplace if they want to open their cases. Second way they get their players
Yeah, we'll call it just like taking $2.50 straight out of your pocket, There's like a 0.1111% chance of getting a gold. And even if you do get a gold, there's another 0.1111% chance of hitting something good within that gold. It's like,
to engage with the market.
Well, if you're a gambling addict, if you got the money to spare, by all means.
Was to make cases randomly drop a skin from a specific collection. You are shown the potential drop of the case, a probability range from getting something common to getting something extraordinary, and when you open it, the excitement is unreal.
I can't lie. $2.50 for this, potentially this. It's worth it. Come on.
Probably because it's gambling. The excitement, the high these people get off opening cases is crazy, but it makes sense. These aren't just skins in a game. It's real money.
Yo, you load up on that Pixel stream. This guy's got like 50,000 viewers. He's bumping music. They're like, gold, 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 gold.
on the line. You just opened a case and got an emerald butterfly knife? Yeah, that's worth $20,000. Not $20,000 in CSGO bucks, real money. These skins are no joke, and it's all because of reason number 2. Valve lets players determine the value of each skin. Because you are forced to buy keys and open randomly generated loot boxes, you rarely get the exact skin you want. So to find a skin you really like, you have to go to the marketplace. But how much does it cost to buy a skin from another player? Well, it depends. This is the most important part of the CSGO economy. Players determine the value of each skin. Valve doesn't set the prices for anything on the market other than case keys. For example, one of the most expensive CSGO skins is the Op Dragonlore, with a price tag running between $4,200 and $400,000.
What? Is this because of the wear discrepancy? No way, right?
Depending on what stickers are on it. That's crazy.
Oh, stickers, okay. God damn, Dragonlore. Jesus.
Even crazier is that if you want
I would just buy the $400 version, say I got it for $300K. Why the hell not?
wanted to sell your Dragonlore Op for $10, you could. There's nothing stopping you. This gives players sell your Dragon.
Whose dumbass did this? This was definitely a billionaire trolling. This is Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk trolling everybody. $10? No way.
Dragonlore Op for $10, you could. There's nothing stopping you. This gives players way more control over their inventory than in any other game, and it keeps players extremely engaged. If you don't want something, you can trade it or sell it or get something you do want. You have influence, you have control. You can feel a lot less like a cog in the machine and a lot more like a businessman. There are entire channels on YouTube dedicated to CSGO trading with lots of videos of trader challenge runs where they start with something inexpensive and work their way up to something much more expensive. You can't do anything like this in other games. There's no trading going on. Probably because
this is the trading and the gambling is a huge part of why CSGO is just so successful still. It's a marketplace. It's literally an economy within the game. Like, think about the stock market. That's the economy. You have a stock market inside a game. You have an economy inside the game. People are not just going to brush that off. Even if the player base dies on CSGO a bit, the economy is still intact. Because it's money, you know?
the developers set all the prices. They determine the value, not you. Where in CSGO, players can decide what they value most or what skins they really want. Two players can make a trade where they both feel like they are winning.
We'd hope that the economy would improve the longevity of our game, provide fun and value to our customers, and make it easier for our customers to provide fun and value to each other.
But you've got to engage with the market to get what you want. And after a player does that once, they're likely to do it again and again. Now, Valve doesn't set any prices, but they do influence them. They create scarcity by limiting case drops.
Bro, look at this guy.
Doesn't set any prices, but they do influence them.
Like, have you ever seen somebody get this hyped off of a skin, bro? Look at this guy, bro.
They create scarcity by limiting case drops and limit how often rare items get dropped to the player. Some weapon crates or sticker bundles will only last for a limited time, which creates a finite amount of certain skins. They might be tied to a limited time event, like an eSports major. On top of that, skins have different rarities, like factory new or field tested. The more pristine a skin is, the more it's worth. Certain weapons give skins a lot more value because they see a lot more use, like the M4, AK, and OP. Some skins also have the pattern randomly generated. If the pattern on one skin looks way cooler, other players will spend more for it. This is great because it helps keep the market dynamic. You can find entire articles and videos talking about the different variations of the same skin, and that adds an entirely new layer of fun to the skin market. Valve has
this whole thing is just so complex. You not only have these skins, but you have patterns inside the skins that contribute to the overall skin, and you have dozens of patterns for each skin. It's an entire ecosystem that is so complex that keeps the economy going. It's insane.
Also released tools to let players create their own skins, letting the community vote on player-made skins, and frequently adding those to the game. People who create these skins normally get a cut of the revenue, and this has been estimated to be $420,000, and is a prime example of letting players create value. And what blows me away is that the CSGO skin market is estimated to be worth over $4 billion, which brings
what the hell?
Is that the CSGO skin market
4 billion buckaroos, bro? You know how much money this is for a game?
is estimated to be worth over $4 billion. Which brings us to number 3, how Valve makes money off all of this. Steam gives game developers a cut when trades are made on their marketplace. First, Valve always gets a 5% cut because they run Steam. Then the game dev gets a 10% cut, which in this case is also Valve. So every single
Valve gets a cut. I mean, the game dev gets a cut, but the game dev is Valve, which is like inside their rule book.
they run Steam. Then the game dev gets a 10% cut, which in this case is also Valve. So every single CSGO trade on the Steam marketplace gives Valve 15%. That's a crazy amount of money for absolutely no effort. Think about that. If the marketplace is worth $4 billion and 15% of that value is given to Valve, that's $600 million in Valve's pocket for
highest leverage way to make money I've ever seen possibly. You create the system. Okay, now, in business, you have this thing called SaaS, right? Software as a service, in which, there's companies like Salesforce. They create a service and then they sell it out, distribute it to millions. This one, it's not really software as a service. It's a game, right? You create it once, you had to update here and there, right? And I've heard CS, they really lack with the updates in terms of having new cases, adding new skins and stuff like that. They just let it run. They don't put any more work into it. It's the highest leverage way to make money I've ever maybe seen in a gaming ecosystem. It's insane.
doing nothing. Valve gets players to engage with the market, lets them set the prices, then they capitalize on the value created by its players. They've got an entire economy living in a single game. It's something every economist should be studying, and is the primary reason why Counter-Strike is growing. But there's one last problem in all of this, and that is Counter-Strike 2. With CS2 releasing, the future of Counter-Strike is up in the air. Will this new update split the community?
Oh, this was when CS2 was coming out, eh? Hey, I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you boys now, it's still growing. I'm a new player. I came into CS, what was it, like a month ago or something? I have like 40 hours now. It's one of the best games I ever played. It's so addicting. I want to learn new stuff. It's still growing, my boys. And, the eSports scene is massive still.
Like CS Source, or will it keep everyone together? What about all the skins?
As long as they keep that economy intact, which, it looks pretty shaky right now. Right, they're doing like these X-rays in Germany. They have like a lawsuit in New York and stuff. We'll see how that pans out. That might take a huge hit if the economy and the gambling kind of takes a hit in CS.
What's going to happen to those? Well, Valve knows all these concerns. They're not planning on letting the cash printer slow anytime soon. All of your skins will transfer. CS2 is more like Overwatch 2 than Red Dead Redemption 2. It's pretty much the exact same game with a shiny coat of paint thrown on top. The engine is getting updated, but the gameplay isn't changing. The maps aren't changing, and the guns aren't changing. Nobody wants that anyway. Valve is one of the smartest game companies out there. Nowadays, they rarely invest any time or money into something unless they know it will be worth it. They've already got a great formula with Counter-Strike. The mods will help keep casuals engaged. The esports scene, which Valve supports, helps get new players interested, and a budding skin economy keeps players invested. This formula has been working better and better for the last 11 years. Who says it can't work for another 20? And that's why Counter-Strike will never die. Hey everyone.
Yeah, it's such a very simple, simple always works. Simple is always the best way to do it. And Valve has mastered it. I'll give it to them.
Thanks for watching the video and supporting Going Indie. This week.
All right, boys, that's a vid. If you liked it, leave a sub, leave a like. Let me know in the comments below. How long do you think CS will keep going for? Are we going to see a potential hit to their economy soon with these lawsuits going on? I don't know. For right now, I think we're still good. We're still in the clear. It's a fun game. Even if the economy takes a hit, people will probably still be playing it. Let's see what happens. But yeah,